Greetings and salutations, Focus Up family. Welcome to the November 30, 2024 installment of the Focus Up Show. We thank you for tuning in with us live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on YouTube and various other platforms, or catching up, sweat up on replay. And we ask that you click that like, that subscribe, that bell, and share to support and maintain your weekly Focus Up fix. I am Mr. Nice Guy, nice as in the word saint spelled backwards. And my co-host today, we got Brother Afro Agnostics. Oh, let's take down that banner right there.
Yes.
So that's me, or whoever's the first want to do it. All right, I got it. All right, so Brother Afro Agnostics, we got a Student X back from for two-week handling business. So we got he's not too fan of the title, but he's our Minister of Information. And we got the infamous El Pooh, star of Spin That Back, every Saturday at 10:30 a.m. And what are we gonna do this Saturday? What's after the show? What are we gonna talk about?
Sir. We're gonna be talking about the great Outcast. Yes, we're gonna be talking about Outcasts out there.
That's what's up. So that having been said, we're missing a few people today. Now the brothers Johnson are out because their father passed away. So our sincere condolences to their family. I mean, he was you always say you can tell a tree from its fruit. And that must have been a great tree. So they all they did was talk about how the strong, influential, powerful man, just a great father, and it's sad that he went, but his legacy is straight. We were talking about legacy a show or two ago, and he will live in his brothers, Brother Floyd X and Brother J Walk, and First Lady J. She's taking care of business. She's very busy and stuff like that. So we're missing a few, but we're gonna carry on. So that having been said, how are you doing today, Brother Afro Agnostics? I see you got your background back.
Yeah, I got my background back. I got my Kufi on. I got my Malcolms on. I'm feeling very, what I'm saying? Y'all, this is the 94, 95 me. This is the ex-clan, the poor righteous teacher. Dr. Ben Yohanan, the Ivan Van Sertima, Cheka Anka Diop. This is I'm in my Umar energy. You know what I'm saying? I even bought I see Charles X with the messenger and everything in the background. I just found my Noble Drew Ali, the Holy Quran with a K. So I'm back on my 95 me, man. Assalamu alaikum, brothers.
Assalamu alaikum salam. Hey, check that out, brother Student X. I didn't notice that in the background. I'm about to say you're normally not in that room. You're normally in the gym. So that's what's up. What's going on with you, brother Student X? Welcome back. We missed you, brother.
Oh, brother, it's good to be missed, brother. And of course, I got a chance to tune in on the show. I wish I was present to, deal with some lack of facts, that were not present on the show. But hey, it was a great show as always. Appreciate you, brothers. I'm in usually I'm in the dojo. Today I'm in the living room. So the grandchildren are not here right now, and I'm just chilling.
Well, it's good to have you back, brother. Keep us on track with those facts and everything.
Yes, sir, for sure.
Those are alternative facts. But infamous El Pooh, what it do?
Yes, sir. Just blessed and happy to be here once again. And it's right after Thanksgiving, right? So we're gonna talk about that, right? Because we didn't get to talk about it last week.
Yeah, we didn't talk. You know what? Let's just throw that up in the front, let's quick. So that was going to be sort of like the end, but we didn't even address it last week. Normally we address it about how we feel about that day, because this is a day that kind of hits Black people a little bit differently just because of the politics of it all. But a lot of us pretty much separate the politics from just the opportunity to hook up with family and have 2 days off. So to me, as a grown up, I've always said as a grown up, Christmas, as a kid, Christmas is the best holiday. As a grown up, Thanksgiving is the best holiday because it's good food, normally good family, and 2 days off. So that having said, I didn't do much of nothing. What did you do, brother Afro Agnostics?
Oh, I didn't do much of nothing. I got my little 2 cents about the holiday, though. Real quick though. I mean, we know it started off as a religious holiday in 1621, the first, I guess the first celebration. And the reason why I say it's a religious holiday is because it was based around divine providence. The entirety of the holiday, it just happened to have or involve food in it, but it was the pilgrims who are religious fanatics, and everything that was successful or was not successful, they looked at as having some fingerprint or message from God, because they viewed themselves as the chosen people and all of this stuff. So that was the original practice, and it was only practiced in specific regions. One of the successors from George Washington, actually, Washington made it a holiday, took it away, said it was too divisive. Only a few people in New England practice it. It's a religious, it's divisive, it's regionalism. It wasn't until in the middle of the Civil War that Abraham Lincoln brought it back. But today, I think, man, folks, it's been somewhat transformed into a harvest festival. But I say, in order to effectively do that, you need to get rid of all the religious connotations in it that still reside in it, and also get rid of all that pilgrim shit, all them fanatic, alcoholic settlers that we celebrate or we think of or look at it in a certain way. I know, damn, that was a mouthful. My bad.
That's just enough said. Hey, I always think about the Addams Family when they had that scene with the Thanksgiving scene. So salute to how they did that, brother Student X. What'd you do?
Bro, it's a normal day for me, bro. I haven't celebrated a holiday in like 30 years. You know what I mean? So but I acknowledge a lot of what the brother said, and that was reasons why myself, I used to, like, every Thanksgiving, usually I fast. Like, this is the first time I ate anything in like the last 5 years, but and what I had was some bean soup. You know what I'm saying? So it was a normal day in the neighborhood. Just chilling.
El Poo, what'd you do?
I was thankful for living another year, or another day. Basically, I don't celebrate these holidays, but I did eat. So, and I got, yeah.
I mean, if I was in Detroit, don't get me wrong, I'll be at grandma's house. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's always been an excuse. I don't recall ever thinking about the pilgrims except maybe in elementary. At the end of the day, it's basically just my family. My family used to get together a lot more than we do now. We don't. A lot of the elders that kind of did all that stuff kind of passed away. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. And I basically brought Memphis with me because a lot of my family came with me. So we were our network, and we get together on Thanksgiving, we get together on the 4th of July, and we get together on I guess on New Year's Day.
Do y'all get together? Do y'all do that gangster? What is it? That dance, the gangster what?
Nah, in fact, we don't. And again, we old Memphis, so the new Memphis is something else. But my people came out of Stax Record, but most of the elders have gone on and stuff like that. So sadly, we don't do pretty much hardly anything ever with the family. So, that's
one other thing, if I might add, the religious part and the patriotic part. So that's another reason why I'm against it, because of how it's been used, how it was used or is being used.
I mean, that's kind of my take with the 4th of July. Again, we pretty much disassociated that with the basis of all that stuff forever. But that having been said, I know that some people feel the need to protest on that particular day. And, if that's your thing, I salute you. At the end of the day, I'll take any excuse to be off work and any excuse to eat and to hook up with family. So that having been said, let's talk about someone who might have violated family a little bit. My bad, El Poo, I was getting in your way. Let's pivot to the topics. Let's get to the get, as I say. Drake, Not Like Us. I should have pulled up the article quicker, but for all intents and purposes, Drake has a lawsuit going on where he's not suing Kendrick Lamar, but he's suing the record company. I think he's suing 2 record companies or a streaming service. And his premise, at least what he's saying is that, they artificially pumped up Not Like Us, and that they made it go viral, and it impacted them some type of way because it was very discouraging, and it sounds a little bit in your feelings like that you got handled. I mean, I understand that the bridge was over with the mega classic, but Shan ain't crying about it. Shan was talking about he even would go on stage when Chris was performing, the bridge is over, and he'd do the chorus because they respected music is just music and battling is just whatever, you know what I'm saying? But he seemed kind of super in his feelings about it. But, you know, there's a side of it that's saying that, look, you know, this streaming thing is kind of crazy, you know, how they got bots, how they got things like that. But, you know, it's funny that you want to attack the system when it impacted you. So that having been said, you got something to say about this, brother Afro Agnostics?
Yeah, I can't even say anymore, man. You know, when it's convenient, when he's like it's sour grapes, when he's not getting the better end of the, you know, the benefits of that corruption in the streaming app, you know, applications, Spotify, then he wants to sue, you know. And I think that also I want to address the people who are saying that that's not hip hop, though. It kind of really is, you know. I remember when Shan accused LL of stealing his beat, the original Rock the Bells beat. He didn't apply a lawsuit. He came with a song. You rocked the bells, but you stole my beat. but that was, you know, so I was upset when NWA sued Tim Dog because I thought that was a code. And ever since that time, you know, it's just folks been suing each other back and forth, man. So how is it not hip hop? Hip hoppers been doing it.
Oh, ho. NWA sued Tim Dog.
Man, they sued Tim Dog for sampling them in the record, on the diss record.
The F Compton song.
That was weak.
Yeah, that was weak. What you got to say about that, El Pooh?
Well, Drake is suing Universal Music Group and Spotify in particular. He's signed to Universal. They've been helping him with the same technique. So why is this such a problem right now?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. You know, Brother Student X, you got some take on this?
No, I really don't have anything to add that you brothers haven't, you know, already spoke on. You know, I'm just on the sideline just watching, bro. You know what I mean? You know, and just studying, you know, how these individuals move, because ultimately others might adopt similar strategies depending on the outcome.
And you know what? To add something that the Afro Agnostic said earlier, UTFO, I do believe, did sue Roxanne Shante when she did. You know, because they had their whole plan together. You know, they were going to come out with the real Roxanne, and she beat him to the punch. So they did sue.
Yeah.
But they ultimately squashed that and became cool and stuff like that. So that has been part of the game, but it should be part of the game. You know, that it is what it is, you know. But that having been said, you know, and a lot of this may be the issue that he don't want, you know, Kendrick Lamar is going to be doing the Super Bowl, and what he don't want him doing is not like us. And
well, he put a separate legal whatever case for that, the cease and desist. You heard about that?
Yeah, so that's what I was kind of getting to. So I'm just saying that was super in his feelings right there. You know what I'm saying? Look, it's a bop. Just let it be. You know what I'm saying?
I feel him on that. No, because that, if you know, the Super Bowl is like millions of people watching that, and then you say this man is a PDA, that's gonna hurt. That's tarnishing his brand though, because I feel that though. And he's not.
He wasn't gonna do that. He was working on integrating Lil Wayne and Drake into the show. That is who he was gonna do. Then Drake, Lil Wayne started like kind of doing these like diss on Twitter, and then you know, Drake dropped the lawsuit, and he's like, oh, okay. Well, you know, I'm sitting there trying to squash it and be cool. Now I'm about to rearrange my show, so I don't know how it's gonna play out. But I'm just saying that, you know, KRS-One, if he's gonna perform, guess what? He's gonna perform The Bridge Is Over. He may not say it, but there's a line in there where he talks about an underage girl is only good for steady effing. So you know what I'm saying? It's part of the game.
And rhyming like they gay.
Yeah, exactly. Like they gay up. You know what I'm saying? And like I seen Shan do that whole verse talking about how dope of a song it was, you know, and I'm talking about old, cantankerous, no teeth Shan. You know what I'm saying? He respects the fact. And look, you know, Shan still loves LL, still loves Karis. You know what I'm saying? He's a dick. He's like an asshole, but he's an honest, genuine, emotional dude. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, you know, that's what's up. And despite contrary belief, he was in Crush Groove. We can talk about that later though. But anyway, Drake, so Drake not like us, and then that's just bringing us over to this whole Kendrick Lamar situation. So Kendrick Lamar dropped this new GNX album. I was supposed to check it out. I put it out there for everybody to check it out, but I was doing too much homework on Outkast. So my apologies. That having been said, brother Afro Agnostics, I believe you said you listened to it multiple times.
Yeah. I actually put it off for, I don't know, it's been out how long now? Like 10 days or 7 days or a week or at least. I put it off, and then I recently listened to it this weekend, I think, or Monday or Tuesday, something like that. And I like it, man. The song it got some real. I mean, it got slappers on it, man. Like the song is bumping. It has like a lot of different musical, but it doesn't feel like a Kendrick Lamar album though, because his albums to me are usually more concept based, have like a sequence, like it's like a whole tapestry of a story. This one just felt more like a mixtape without the mixing in of the songs, though. So I feel like he's going to drop something else before the Super Bowl comes out. I mean, before he does the Super Bowl.
Well, yeah, that's a ways. Well, not too far off, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. Brother Student X, you said you heard a few songs on it, right?
Yeah, bro, I heard a few songs on it, and I agree. I listened to the first 5 because I was just, when I was just driving to work, at certain points in time, and then, I wasn't, it didn't strike me as terrible, from the few songs I heard. But what did catch my attention was I don't know, I'm not following the music scene like you guys are, but I don't know how soon that J. Cole had dropped, but then that J. Cole had popped up. And I listened to a few songs on that, and I was just like, damn, man, this brother lyrically, I'm not sure that Kendrick or any of those cats was really messing with him lyrically.
No,
what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, bro. What I mean?
J. Cole's better than those cats. J. Cole's better than those cats. You feel something different?
What?
Yeah, J. Cole is a better lyricist than all 3 of those dudes they talked about. And we can
okay. Well,
we're gonna say that's gonna be the 5 minutes of funk. Say that, but spin that back.
Let me just say this. I think what's the song TV Off is made by Mustard. Mm-hmm. That's like the one that's really a lot of memes and stuff is really catching swing. And I think that was perfect timing for him because he drops the songs that we can get used to for a couple of months and then perform those because his catalog is kind of older and those will be more mainstream. But guaranteed to do that TV. What is it? TV Off. Then he said mustard.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's gonna be the bump.
So we got this brother Nunu P. J. Cole doesn't even have the vocabulary to be a lyricist. So maybe that's what Yeehaw J was saying. Stop the cap. I disagree. And not only that. Guess what? Big Daddy Kane agrees with me. So that's Mount Rushmore type dude. So there's a lot of cats will say that.
But there's the lyrical miracle bias in that though. Since those are folks who look at lyrics. Oh, did you hear what he said? Forget what he said. It's how he said it. Is can you give a cadence to the people that memorable lines, expressions. Those things are very important too, not just lyrics.
And I'm gonna tell you this. Again, it's not. I wasn't saying he was a superior artist. Mm-hmm. I was talking about lyricists. I disagree. I think lyrics is just lyrics. When I'm telling you that Coogee is one of the illest lyricists ever, I'm just telling you, not understanding how his albums come together, his songs come together. I'm talking about his lyrics, his punchlines, his patterns. I mean, creme de la creme. You know what I'm saying? He's the godfather of many.
Yeah, as far as lyrics, but I'm just saying, like,
that's what I was talking about.
Remember though, MCing means.
I didn't tell you he was
moving the crowd.
Hey, KRS is a better MC than most of these guys that are way better lyricists than him. So I'm not making that.
And I would argue Biz Markie is a better MC as far as performance, moving the crowd.
I think you can make an argument there, even though that argument that you made that you low key trying to bring up here was BS. I know what you're doing, you know what I'm saying, but I heard no question. KRS One himself said it. Biz Markie can destroy you in a battle because he can get the crowd going and just destroy you with it. So no question. You know what I'm saying? Okay. We kind of getting off a little bit.
Yeah, I had no idea I was igniting, some sort of controversy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, we'll say.
He said, wait, you brought it up. He said that Biz Markie's first album was better than Coogee Rap's first album. So So I just was like, you can make that argument from a song standpoint, but you actually said he was you said something more controversial. He was a better rapper. You said something to that extent.
No, I was saying MC.
Like performer.
Performer is different. I would never talk about Cool G performing because I remember Craig G saying that, he's the dude that, just has problems with, impromptu type stuff. Not to be putting Craig G stuff out there or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm not trying to put any words in your mouth, but when you say he's a better MC as far as moving the crowd, that's what I figure a performer is.
Yeah,
Just in my opinion.
Yeah, but I'm talking about a lyricist, rapper, a person who can do things. But that having been said, I'm sorry, Student Next. I didn't mean to jump in front of you. I wanted to give you what we're talking about. You were saying that we brought up something. But go ahead, Student Next.
Yeah, no. I appreciate the context, But so is it widely accepted that the Not Like Us was the best of the diss tracks, that came out, during that time that the beef was happening? Is that a thing?
I think that you probably have to. I mean, in my opinion, it just the way it blew up, I feel like it overtook The Bridge Is Over and No Vaseline. I'm not saying it's a better song than those songs. I'm just saying that it redefined battle song. To me, it wasn't even the best battle song in the sequence. The best battle song in the sequence was I don't remember that one that I played you that I told you when you were sitting there going, I don't know, I think Drake got it. And then that to me, that was the best song, period, out of all of this stuff. But Not Like Us is the bop. It's basically what The Bridge Is Over was. The Bridge Is Over was not very complicated lyrics, rapping like they gay ya. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't. It was just a whole vibe thing and just a banger. And Not Like Us just took over the world. You know what I'm saying?
Now, and that's that also that vibe thing, just to kind of a slight little mini throwback, not just lyrics. That vibe matters.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And that's why I think that this next generation, we always talk about mumble raps, but I will defer and say that the new generation is better at typing into vibes than our generation was as a whole. I'm not saying that there were individuals that mastered the vibe in our day, but I'm just saying that, they lean into vibes and they do it pretty well after a fashion.
You remember like Ella Baker would do the scat, doing the whole song. She's Scooby-Doo. I mean, she's not saying anything, no content. It's just the vocalization.
Hey, you gotta tell me, Don Baring from Masters of Ceremony. I mean, there's a lot of people doing all that stuff. So
yeah. So, hey, boy, okay.
Right. Spin that back on the Focuz Up show. That's what I'm talking about. But infamous El Poo, you got something else to say? But you didn't speak on this album, right?
No, not really. I listened to it one time. It was cool. Nothing's ever going to top To Pimp a Butterfly. That's the best album that he did to me. It's just that hit me emotionally. It hit me on all types of levels right there. This right here was kind of like, it sounds like it was rushed a little bit, but I do appreciate the lyrics, the way that the music flows and everything, because he doesn't just use a beat and just, flow on top of it. He got all kinds of crazy concepts and way he uses his cadence, and he got other people on there rapping and stuff. It's interesting. That's all I can say. I got to listen to it a few more times to really get a real feel for it.
Yeah.
But, it was cool. It was all right. It wasn't what I expected, but it was cool.
If I can enter a little controversy really quick, what do folks think about? Because there's a lot of 2 or 3 songs that really sound very Bay Area-ish. And in the song he dropped the video for, he has Bay Area bikers in the video or dancers. So there's a little counter criticism of that coming from some Bay Area folks who are claiming that why he doesn't include any Bay Area rappers on the album, but he's appropriating the Bay Area culture.
Oh.
I'm not one of them. I'm just letting you know what's floating around.
Perfect segue into the DEI segment.
That it is. So that having been said, the next topic is DEI the New ANTIFAH. And what I meant by that is that, Antifa was sort of a catch-all boogeyman to anything that, Mr. Trump would complain about something. Antifa was like Spectre for James Bond, to Trump. Even though we, hear nothing about this, they disappeared for 4 years, and I don't even know if they're back now, because now the boogeyman is the DEI. And I'm not saying that they don't have grounds to make an argument about some stuff, but I mean, I know that with Walmart is really rolling back. A lot of these major corporations are rolling back because they feel like, look, the people have spoken. There's been somewhat of a referendum, and they're pulling back on DEI. And the question is that really the way to go?
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
What is DEI?
So that's diversity, equity, inclusion. Is that what it is?
Yes.
So, and again, what the theory of this is basically a representation of those that tend to be misrepresented. Those people that don't really have a say, that have impact, that have influence, but normally don't have a seat at the table. So, a lot of this stuff was never about just filling the quota and putting bums that weren't qualified to do their job. The reality is, for every job, there's a lot of people that are qualified to do their job. But, sometimes if by getting someone else who has a different take on it, you'll get exposed to different flavor, and it'll perhaps help you even capture a broader audience than you're already getting. So it's never been a function about not getting someone who's not qualified for the job. It's just diversifying your influence so that you can have a broader stroke, a broader reach, a broader representation of more than that's out there than just basically, white men.
A la affirmative action.
I mean, something like that. And again, it's not about giving jobs to people that don't, or giving people opportunity to go to school that aren't good enough to do these type of things. There's reasons why that they may not do so well on a particular test or whatever and stuff like that, but you still had to meet certain criteria. So that's what it is.
Yeah, the criteria, in my opinion, the criteria is you have to be white. That's what it is. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, yeah, because they've changed it. Because DEI basically now, when you see like a lot of people, I know Brother Student X was chomping at the bit when we talking about some of those Trump hires for his cabinet. But in a lot of these people were not necessarily the most qualified people; they were just the most loyal. And I mean, it's really an example of white people feeling marginalized. So he was doing DEI to help the marginalized white people get jobs.
Yeah, and to add on to that, the only black face I saw in the cabinet was the one that's taking over for Hood, as usual.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's talk about it. First of all, I want to be on the topic of the DEI, but just to address that last statement in terms of the Trump picks. I mean, look, if there was more of us, on that side of the aisle, where we had, influence and interaction and whatnot, then it'll be easy, to plug, some of us, are from out of that mix, But, again, what Trump is looking for right now is the best person for the job to carry out, his agenda, what it is that, this is not his first rodeo. So again, DEI, the new Antifa, I mean, look, the words in the acronym itself are worthy attributes to promote in any business, any nation. The list goes on seemingly forever of efforts that would benefit if this mindset took root. However, I would say just like the symbol such as the rainbow and the term woke, DEI, aka affirmative action, was hijacked and now has additives on it like MSG, artificial coloring, high fructose corn syrup, the stuff that's not good. The problem, that's the problem. That's where the pushback is. It's not a so-called anti-black thing, per se. I'm sure you can find maybe some people who don't, particularly, like us or want to see us rise, in that group, possibly, but again, I compare this situation right now to where you look at what a woke activist of today is versus a black revolutionary of the past. I remember when this amalgamation, kind of like, putting Frankenstein together, came together where it brought the black, a struggle in with the LGBTQ rights. I probably missed the acronym, no cap intended, but, when I saw that merger happen, then all of a sudden, activism took on a new look, from females twerking at the police, all type of foolishness and whatnot. But no, a DEI is something to where, with me, what I prefer meritocracy. Let's go on merit. Now, I acknowledge that there are sectors that we have to make sure is diversified, and allowing opportunities for others, in particular us, because, we like many Americans in general, no matter what their color is, we don't own these big corporate conglomerates. You know what I mean? You know, workers in general are disenfranchised. You know what I mean? You know, so you know that's. You know, like I said, I prefer to see a meritocracy, you know, with acknowledging that we need to have some protections for diversity, you know, equity and inclusion, you know, and not just, you know, again, adding all this mustard and mayonnaise to the situation. You know what I mean? Let's get truly qualified people around and let's rock the mic. Let's build.
Afro agnostics, you got something to say about that?
Well, you know, first of all, I totally agree with the notion that Trump is making objective hiring or doing objective hiring practice, including the best people in his billionaires cabinet. Clearly he's not. People who don't believe in germ theory, people who don't even acknowledge the existence of Palestine. They think they operate off the Israeli myth. Clearly that's not the case. But as far as meritocracy, that's a myth. That's a mythology. Never has been, is not currently. The United States has never, ever, ever been a meritocracy. Now, there was, just put it in a historical context, DEI, if you strip up all the ways that it's applied now, or, you know, it's just really, the first DEI program was Reconstruction. Reconstruction was a DEI program that came after, you know, the Civil War, so-called Civil War. You know, the HBCUs come out of that. There was a Freedmen's Bank. There was the establishment of black towns. There was talk of, you know, reparations. Some reparations were administered. So, you know, it's a compensatory thing. It's a type of reparations, which is what affirmative action is. My problem with DEI and with affirmative actions is that they're watered down, and not enough is being put into them, not enough to make qualitative change. So that's, you know, that's my real issue. But I would criticize DEI, but to build a campaign to get rid of it, have nothing to replace it, and think things are just going to, through osmosis, integration is going to happen. That's never going to happen. If you don't have these programs to coerce it, to force it, to make it mandatory, you know, to make it illegal to not do so, and you don't have these agencies that have teeth to regulate and make sure it happens and look at the outcomes, it's never going to happen. So the whole idea of a multiracial democracy, which is what Reconstruction was about, you know, that's not going to happen if you don't have these type of programs.
Well, in defense of President Trump, he has concepts of a replacement for DEI. So that having been said, infamous El Poo, you got something to say about this?
Yeah. The only qualifications you need to be in Trump's cabinet is you need to be a bootlicker, a butt kisser, and have a pretty face. Period.
So, and you know, I will say that crap, I lost my train of thought. But Mr. Trump, I mean, we'll see how it's going to play out. To me, I feel like if you have a vision, you got to give a person the opportunity to put it in place. You got people that are going to work the plan and is going to do it. So again, like I said, if he's a captain of the ship that I'm in, I don't want the ship to fail. You know, we're going to talk about some of his strategy with the next topic, but, you know, now is probably a good time to take some breaks. So, I mean, didn't mean to catch you off guard about that infamous El Poo, but, you know, but that, the one thing I want to say before, this is what I want to say about the whole DEI and all this stuff and affirmative action. I don't believe, I do feel like meritocracy would be kind of a better way to go, where my feeling is that we, instead of trying to look for the best of us to get representation in these places, that is a noble tact. I would say it's better for us to build up our people so that the masses, we're talking about after school programs. We're talking about we should be destroying those tests. We should be, we should be elite in skills and all this stuff. All of this stuff should come off the table.
Agree.
As far as that. So that's why, to me.
But if you believe that, then you must believe in ending DEI. If that's the case, you know what I'm saying? Because the bottom line is that the brothers who I know have risen high they would have done so, with without, these sort of things in place, mainly because right now there are
not necessarily
plenty of companies that embrace and realize that they become stronger, if they do have more diversity, equity, and then have the right people in the job at the end of the day, who's the best for the position, no matter what their race, color, or creed is.
Hey, Student X, that's like white people saying that racism is over because Obama got elected president. Look, you can't look at the outlier and say that we fixed the problem. I'm just saying that nepotism is a reality. Trump's not going to hand over his business to the most qualified person to run his business. He's going to run his business, turn his business over to his sons, like every good father. You know what I'm saying? It's the way stuff is done. So, Trump was grub staked by his father. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying
it's the way things should be done. Because of course, he's not just handing it over to them. He's prepared them for that role. From birth.
He's prepared them after fashion. They are not the most.
Let me just say, can I add really quick? Most Black people with a college education come from HBCUs. HBCUs come out of, they were a compensatory act after the Civil War. It was a form of reparations to Black. Actually, it was a watering down of Sherman's Special Field Order Number 15, which was the basis for 40 Acres and a Mule. That was rejected, and they came up with schools. But I'm just saying, so that itself, we see that most Black people that you see are educated. They would not be if it were not for HBCUs. And that follows, and that's parallel to other institutions. People don't just become great on their own grit. Some individuals do, but when you see, like when you do a hierarchy of social groups that have power in the United States, you see Anglo-Saxons at the top, then the Jews, then the white Catholics. We're the lowest as a group. So I'm saying there's no way to improve your group dynamics if you don't have programs like that. It's not individual.
But I'm not arguing that those programs at that time were not needed, because of course they were. You know what I mean? But again, we're not looking at yesterday.
I didn't say at that time,
today.
I didn't say at that time.
And where we're at today, we are not void of tools in order for us to be the best compared to anybody, on any subject, if we apply ourselves.
No, I didn't say that.
That's the reality.
I didn't say that those things were needed back in the day. I'm saying they're needed in order to have a multiracial America, if that is the goal, where Black people are represented in white institutions. Look at the white, what do you call it? White colleges and institutions. Black people are not there in big numbers.
I get it. The goal is off. The goal needs to be readjusted, because again, the goal should be really, at the end of the day, if our people were alive and awake, would be self-sufficiency. You know what I mean? To be able to, govern and control.
No one does self-sufficiency. No, who does self-sufficiency? Who does it?
Yeah, everybody's. Look, Trump.
They've got assistance from the government.
Everyone's got their networks. Everybody's leaning off of their people that are helping them. Hey, Trump has helped himself.
But self-sufficiency doesn't mean your own efforts and your own efforts alone. Well, again, I'm talking about the body and the strategies you adopt. So as part of your strategies that you adopt, it should be to interact with others. You know what I mean?
The government has $6 trillion, man. They can undermine and build up whatever you do. The government has $6 trillion treasury. And part of that treasury is from us. Those are our resources. It's just trying to redirect and redistribute the resources that we've already, and then the historical resources as well. I'm just saying you can't do that without the government's influence. You can force the government to do it. White people have not gotten the gains that they have, or the collective wealth they had from their own, working hard meritocracy. They got it from the government. They have DEI, just the reverse of it, is homogeneous exclusion and inequity. That's how they accumulated and hoard their wealth and power. I'm saying that you cannot do it any other way. This whole that you're talking about the gospel of wealth. That was in the 19th century. The robber barons, the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, they promoted that myth of pick yourself on your own pick yourself up on your own bootstraps and stick to this and be. That's what you tell working class and poor people. That's not how they.
That's what the majority of the people are. You know what I mean?
But that's not the solution.
Only 16 of the people in this nation make over $100,000 a year. You know what I mean?
Say what?
16%.
And the majority white.
Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe. You know, I don't think everybody is. I know for a fact they're not all white. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is that right now, you know me, my philosophy is
in that tax bracket,
accountability, and there's so much that we could do, you know, on our own, to where we won't have to complain about others, and then we just don't have these artificial barriers that are holding us back today. You know what I mean? The choice is us. The choice is up to us, you know, as a family, as an individual unit, as a collective, to decide what are the best practices that's going to rise.
I think individual blacks need to take accountability to holding the government accountable.
Hey, I'm going to say this.
And we want our reparations.
Well, see, there's a big part of this. I will say this just to put a bow on it. I think you're right, Student X, and to say that, look, we need to be our own solution. We need to network and work together to do this stuff after a fashion. But the reality is we need to take advantage of the other resources too. And what Omar is talking about, the other resources, we're putting money into the government. That money should be coming back in assistance as well. It shouldn't be a function of what we do on our own. It should be a function of what we're putting on a belt and suspenders.
And what we put in,
we're going to do from that.
In the past too, what we put in the past.
There is no specific fund that's set aside for white people that say, okay, here, white people, here's what you're going to get. There's all sorts of programs, you know, and opportunities that exist that others are seizing these opportunities. And then we're not always. Now, granted, there are some contracts for sure where you definitely have, you know, people who are not selected, you know, probably because they look like us, no doubt about it. And that's why I'm saying that we need to make sure the diversity, equity, and inclusion exists, you know what I mean? But I don't want to have this, you know, to be underneath this umbrella of, okay, well, here, maybe I made it all because someone gave me this opportunity that I did not earn. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, I believe cream rise to the top, and I put myself against anybody, class, creed, you know, a race, whatever, sexual orientation, and then let's see who excels in whatever endeavor that we chose and we picked. Among ourselves, you know what I mean? You know, and go head to head with it.
Brother Student X, let me just acknowledge something. You are an accomplishment of a human being. You know what I'm saying? You're a person that was a big impact on the person being you. But you got to understand it. You're not just starting off from here. You're starting off from wherever it was and whatnot. I'm just saying, you got here. You are an accomplishment. There's a lot of black people out there are starting from a place that is way too messy without the help. They're not the people that can pull them up from their own bootstraps.
I've been there, bro. I've been inside the ghettos of North America.
Yeah, what I'm saying, you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm understanding. It's going to take a lot more work than just an individual looking in the mirror.
And guess who? And guess where it starts at? The construct of the family. Well, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't start with the white man is the devil. You know what I'm saying? It starts with the concept of family.
Hey,
and but it doesn't do different, but different outcomes.
But you need to see the devil for what the devil is. That haven't been said. But let's get into some of these commercials.
I just want to add really quick, man. When you don't look at the system as the fault or the deficiencies that you're trying to change, then you're forced to look at yourself and think something is wrong with you, which is the deficiency model. It's not saying that we can walk and chew bubblegum. Yeah, take personal responsibility, but do not let the government off the hook. That's your resources. That is the only way we're going to build the collective wealth, is we have to take it from the government and redistribute the forces. You talk about white people, nothing. I'm not going to get into it, but yeah.
No, that happens. Hey, brother, dude, I'm going to do this. Go to the commercials, infamous El Poo. Just a few. Just like maybe a La Brea, Go Be Alive. Maybe spin that back. That's salute to La Brea Trucking for all of your trucking needs. You need something transported from the East Coast to the West Coast, North Coast to the South, and all points in between. The fleet has expanded. Hit him up, play back the commercial. You know, that's the beauty of YouTube or whatever you do. Just slide it back and see his contact information. La Brea Trucking, a fundamental contributor and a member of the Focuz Up family. All right, so now I just figured out what you deleted, what should not have been deleted, infamous El Poo. So that's at gobealive.org. So go get you some of that black honey. And what I was going to do is put up the information about going to the Petty Vice in Venice, California. And also she's got a Afro City at the African Marketplace in the Crenshaw, the Baldwin Hills Mall. And she's actually got a third place. So she's expanding. She's doing things. So salute to Sister Nidra. We're going to bring her back on the show. Let's gobealive.org. Go get you some of that black honey. See, I don't have the information to talk about them. That's why I didn't suggest that. But that having been said, support that black business. They're up north. You know what I'm saying? So again, rewind the tape and check out the address and the phone number. Go get you some good black drinks and foods and have some fun watching games. That's what's up.
Yes, sir. That's about it.
All right. And also, there's this thing called Spin That Back. If he wasn't going to play the commercial, you can at least talk about what we going to speak about and say it again. Because after this show, don't run away. We give you a 30-minute break, and then we're going to come back with Spin That Back.
Yes, sir. We're going to be talking about the great group Outkast, who put the South on the map, in my opinion.
That's going to be part of the debate. So that having been said, now we're going to talk about some of these tariffs. So we were talking about policies and stuff like that. Again, we're not in the Trump bashing business. We just want to talk about this whole plan of tariffs. And, if you don't know what tariffs are basically, some people don't like to call them a tax, but it is a tax. It is basically a tax on a particular product, on whether it's a regional or whether it's a, substance wise or whatever it is. The bottom line is you're saying that, look, if you are selling this thing, we're gonna charge you this extra little amount on top of that. We're not gonna stop you from being able to sell that here, but the bottom line is you're gonna have to pay this little extra tax, for it. And the problem is there's a big argument, and it's really not a big argument, is that, who's going to end up paying that? And the fact of the matter, it's going to be the consumers. What's going to happen is the people that are bringing stuff in, they're not dropping the price. They're just charging you what they're charging you, but the price is going to go up. So the people that are importing, that's the people that are here. They're gonna experience that bump that they got to pay more for, and then the consumer is on the end result. We're always talking about how government. We don't want the government involved in business. We want to just the invisible hand of economics to move it. But you still have these policies that don't rely on the invisible hand, and and all you're doing is manipulating. So you're picking and choosing. You're saying regulations are bad. We're going to deregulate. That's what Trump's talking about. We're going to deregulate, but we're going to regulate tariffs, and they're going to have that type of an impact. So that's just the reality of it. What you got to say about this, brother Afro-agnostics?
Man, there's so many. You took me off my train of thought, man. But yeah, laissez-faire capitalism, again, another myth. Government has always cradled and coddled capitalism, helped it develop, does all types of interventions and protectionisms to save capitalism. So the free market, that's a myth. But, just put it in context. This country was started over a fight over taxes. And what were they taxing? They were taxing the products of slave labor that were grown on Indian captured land. But anyway, just kind of giving the context, but it's going to hurt the consumer. I don't want to call it dumb and stupid, but I would say it is not. It demonstrates not
it's dumb and
we don't have
stupid.
any understanding of a Marxist view of capitalism. Capitalism must extend capital. Something's wrong with
That's a good word. It's capital. Good one.
The capitalism must extend capital and get rid of human labor, and so it's not only that things are outsourced that's a problem, but it's also automation. And we see with the advent of AI, what all those things have in common, what they do is that they decrease expenses, which increase profit. That's the whole goal. So you put a 10% tax on an import coming in, they're going to push that off to the consumer. And people argue, well, it's going to bring manufacturing into the United States. Really, you think a clothing industry is going to start in the United States? How you go compete with Thao Chow in Thailand, who was working for $101.85 a day? Like, I've been to DR in different places, man. You know, this is a side note. If dudes come with pictures talking about they had women in the DR, they saps, because it's nothing to get women in the DR. They make like $8 a day. So I'm saying, how is someone in the United States going to compete? Not only that, we can get into it. They have an advantage simply because of they don't have regulation. You know what I'm saying? So there's no way that you're going to compete with labor in another country or compete with the regulations that they don't have. It's a pipe dream.
And I want to say, in defense of some of those other nations, I'm not saying that they got ideal environment situations, but their cost of living is also way down. So that's also, if they weren't being paid enough to function, they wouldn't continue to function. But yes, we know that there's child labor and all type of crazy stuff going on over there.
You have some real nice houses they live in, those tenements.
Yeah, I understand.
Don't cost that much.
Yeah. Well, if I could add here on the subject, the first thing is that, when I hear sometimes the responses, from, a more left-leaning thought, process, which is, there's no cap, I'm just saying, a lot of the points that you all made, definitely, that's what you find on the left for sure, without any doubt. But the thing is that Trump amazes me in the fact that he seems to be, I don't think it's 4D chess. But some people call it 4D chess, but to where people can't see what he's trying to do, it just concerns me. First of all, the most cruelest other people who are out there are these globalists. And that is who are the Trump detractors and opponents, are the globalists, because the globalists have made this whole world construct their playground, and they have certain products, being manufactured or produced in certain quadrants of the area, so they can have and make this money, year round, even though it's not best for the consumer. So by Trump throwing these trade and tariffs on, that it's going to act as a deterrent towards those government, and not just because, you can say, okay, they're just going to pass the cost to the consumers. Well, yeah, that's true for those who decide to consume such products, that if they truly understand the origins of them, they would know it's demonic in nature right from the gate. Having people exploited across this world, for their labor, as well as, their human rights, dignity, the whole 9 yards. So again, what Trump is doing is that, sure, some of those things might make it to market here, but there are also going to be now alternatives, and ones that, who might end up being now the same price, but produced locally.
Oh, check it out. Okay. Now you talk about this left-leaning stuff. Let's talk about this right-leaning stuff. So again, if you have a company in America creating that same product, it's going to be more expensive. So you're still you're basically making that other thing more expensive, and then the thing here is going to be more expensive infrastructurally. So you're not bringing any costs down. The costs are rising.
Here's where you miss. But here's where you miss. The thing is that because of the decline of the dollar, everything is going up anyway, because the dollar doesn't have the same value, and it's losing gain on a regular basis. So the thing is that the prices are naturally going up on situations. So now what Trump has done is that by stopping these trade and tariffs on some of these products that are making its way here, now, like you said, they're going to just pass the cost to the consumer. So it's going to rise their cost, in terms of that product. But here, when you make things locally, then there's naturally a higher cost on things anyway, because you're not doing the same volume. You see what I'm saying? So now it's going to allow some of those local people to compete. That's just one situation.
Let me just say really quick. I think one point is that Trump embraces the very political economy that produces those type of. Why are they there in the first place? They're outsourcing because capitalism. You talked about globalism being not good for the consumer. Capitalism doesn't work for the consumer. It works for profit. It works for profit. So you're not talking about deconstructing that type of political economy. You're not solving the problem. And that's the problem. He's caught in the catch-22. He's not going to ever implement these because it's not going to work he's going to implement some tariffs against China. That's the extent of what he's going to do.
Well,
No,
that's not
the extent. That's not the extent.
Hold a second. Go ahead. El Poo.
He's talking about putting tariffs on Canada and Mexico also.
And let me say this.
Beyond 2%, I mean. Beyond 10%.
What?
Do you know why?
Wait, hold on. Before you go there, you got to understand that what happens is he puts a tariff on those countries. What do they do in response? They put a tariff on us. So what happened is there's a lot of people here, farmers here, that depend on commerce abroad. So they were destroyed by this. So what they had to do is that he ended up having to do all these subsidies just to make up for them because they lost or they couldn't compete.
But they have not been destroyed by all this, bro. Why do you think the majority of them voted for Trump? You know what I mean?
You know why?
Jose didn't vote.
Jose didn't vote. And Latino man voted. There was 33% people of color that voted for Trump in this election.
That was Baptista, not Jose.
Again.
That was
Jose from the strawberry farm is illegal. He's illegal. He ain't voting.
Yeah, Trump got 3 million extra votes outside of his base. That base was loyal to him.
The math was always closer to 4 million. You know, if you're truly rounded up or down. You know what I mean?
It was. I don't know if that was. We can look. I got the final. Well, I had the final numbers. I think El Poo.
Yeah, I saw in the last show. And I was shaking my head because I was like, man, those are the
exact numbers. Those are the exact numbers. What it ended up on. That's the popular vote. So you talk about that. But again,
I'm just saying, bro. Back to these tariffs.
About the facts. I'm just saying you always talk about the facts, but I'm just telling you these are alternative facts that are colored a particular way.
Well, no, here's the fact that I know that you guys should agree with.
Go ahead.
This is the fact you should definitely agree with, and that is that by large part, the reason why there was a discrepancy in the vote and why over 3,000 counties throughout America lean or right, for the first time in the history of America is because most of the voters believe that Trump economically was more sound than what they were seeing from the Democrats and what they were going to get from the Democrats. You know what I mean? So right off the bat, the majority of the people trust Trump judgment economically, in terms of where America's going to go, what they did, these Democrats in general.
I love that he says that. The majority of the people, now again, the majority of the people will trust a white man over a black woman when it comes to business and stuff like that. You're acting like the collective America was particularly smart or something. They may have leaned however they leaned for whatever reason they leaned it, but I'm just telling you.
I wouldn't say the majority of people will be in that mindset. You know what I mean?
Plus, it's disrespectful to black women when 92% of black women didn't vote for him. It's kind of saying that they didn't, their lack of speaking spoke for them, or no, that's you can't totally exclude black people, black women, and say the people have spoken. That's very exclusionary to black women.
I lost what you were saying. What do you mean? Like, what was this? What was
but the main thing he's talking about, I still was just leaning to the whole majority.
Like it's a mandate for the people. Like his election was a mandate of what the people wanted. When black women,
I mean, hell,
92% of black women didn't want it.
But
I understand that.
Wait. But we do understand that, there's like a statistical breakdown of people of educated voters versus uneducated voters. So I'm just saying that when you have uneducated,
I don't even refer to it like that, bro. Someone who did not go to college, is not uneducated.
Pause, because Trump himself said, "I love the uneducated." They are.
Probably real similar to the way me and us say, "I love niggas." You know what I'm saying? Niggas is not particularly, a respectful term. We use it every day, not we, but some do, And so in that term, it was being facetious and pointing back at how the left is calling themselves superior, better, educated versus uneducated.
No, just keep it like this. Some parts of the population have a college education. Some people don't. Generally, when people say uneducated, that means you don't have a college education. And that was his biggest base.
I would say with
vote,
liberals and Democrats and those that put themselves on a certain platform because they went and spent a bunch of money going to college and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Get something out of college.
I get it. You know what I mean? They're really proud of
I'm not judging the social value. I'm just saying that demographic. There are people that are college educated, and there are people that are not college educated. The non-college educated is his base.
Let's say that then.
And he acknowledges it by saying they are, to him, the smartest people and the most loyal to him, to his cause. That's what he
definitely
said,
the most loyal. But as far as the argument of smartest, I'm gonna push back on that. But I'm saying that the student X is making an argument that you don't go to college. I'm not saying that going to college makes you necessarily smarter, but it increases the probability. Your education it does impact you. For example,
no, I would say it opens some, and especially in the old economy, it opens some more doors for you. No doubt about it.
No.
No doubt about it. You know what I mean? But it's not.
Being exposed to knowledge gives you more knowledge. That's the nature of what it is.
No,
I'm saying you can argue about the quality of the knowledge.
Exposed to knowledge. They do not have a monopoly.
Right now.
I mean,
I'm telling you,
again, one has drive, the desire, they can get all the knowledge they want today.
Student X.
Hold on. Can I say something?
Yes.
You can be exposed to knowledge and still reject it. That makes you a fool.
No doubt about
it. It's not that the college itself or that was necessarily was being taught. I mean, that's important, but the college campus is like the only place where people actually debate ideas, where ideological struggle is more encouraged, outside of the barbershop sometimes, and where you have people that are gaining skills in a certain discipline. So it has nothing to do with, it can be in any society, but when that campus is a special place, just being there, you meet people from all across the world, different points of view. You just don't get that anywhere else. It's just that just happens to be the place where you get that.
Hey, brother,
agreed. There's a value in the educational institution.
Brother student, do this. I've learned a lot of research on my own. I've learned a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I've been digging into a lot of Black consciousness, information pools and stuff like that. But I'm also a person who went to college. I got 2 degrees, and I'm just saying that the stuff that I got out of college was additional stuff as opposed to the stuff that I got my own. I'm just telling you can take a person that has all the knowledge that they got in the world and then stick that person in college for 4 years. I'm telling you, you're going to get something else out of it. I'm not telling you that you need to go to college to be a success in life. I'm not telling you have to go to college to be an intellect, but I'm just telling you, when you go to academia, when you participate in academia, and you don't just basically just go there and show it up, but I'm talking about actually doing the work, take the test, pass some grades, accomplish something, you're getting some information. And a lot of this information is not reinventing the wheel. A lot of this information is very thoughtful, profound knowledge that someone's really worked and painstakingly put together. And I'm just telling you, it puts you in a better place.
And I would say just another way of looking at it, and I agree with you 100%, is that if you were to get kids like in the range of 6 or 8, the ones that went to kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, their cognition is just going to be superior. Just for the simple fact that they're literate. Like, we learn these basic skills in school. College is just a continuation of that. It's just a continuation of that same process. There's going to be a pronounced difference between a young person that went to kindergarten, first grade, elementary school, and someone that didn't.
And just to bring this up
unless
again,
they were home.
Here's the total number.
You know what I mean?
70.
Any type of schooling.
Yeah. Here goes the total numbers again. This is the final total calculation. That's 76.961 to 74.452.
2.5.
That's less than 3. That's what I said. I said he got about three or whatever, but you're talking about from what he got last time. That's true. If you're talking about
what was the original context of this convo? I can't remember.
Well, I was just saying that
we're talking about the terrorists.
Yeah, well, the original, we fleshed, the terrorists have been completely fleshed out. We're sitting there talking about the people evaluating, the people who are saying that this is a more economic, and I'm just saying the masses don't necessarily have a better understanding of economics. The masses
during Trump's first 4 years, there was no inflation. Biden had 2 right after.
Of course, there was inflation.
And we saw the economy went.
There was inflation. I think the inflation was low, but a lot of these things that when people say that, when I got behind the wheel, I made this happen. Sometimes you just got behind the wheel. It wasn't your own actions. It could have been a bunch of different things. We don't know. Coming back from COVID, I wouldn't necessarily attribute that to just like his presence in the presidential seat.
Well, his mismanagement of it, I would say,
Exactly.
had an impact
That's
on
what I was
how it
getting ready to
was.
say. His
But
mismanagement.
that having been said, we didn't get to a whole bunch of stuff, but I think we still fully fleshed out a complete show. So that having been said, unless somebody wants to say something in closing, I know Student X, I'm gonna give you that. I know you want to say what you've been away for 2 weeks, so let me say what you say.
No, I would just say I don't acknowledge the fact that things were mismanaged in the COVID situation. With Trump, there's some things that that I would have done different personally. But the mismanagement that I see versus what you see is probably from two different sides, because I see that he really didn't live up to the expectations of the majority of the people who supported him. And what he should have done, and that he sold out in a lot of ways. So that would be my criticism of it. But no, as always, I love participating in the show with you all, and I love being around some diversity, equity, and inclusion. You know what I'm saying? And not having just this monolith. As a people that some think that we should subscribe to. Although based on the voting numbers that Brother Afro just brought up, it would seem that there is a monolith among the sisters, at least. But. Again,
the brothers too. If you want to play that game, the brothers too. The brothers,
yeah, the majority of the brothers didn't. Yes, it's both.
Well, you said 92% voted for Kamala.
Yeah, that's a super majority.
But the brothers wasn't that high. They was high.
I'm saying that was a supra, but we still had a super majority. Majority of black people don't rock with Trump.
Yeah, I understand that for sure.
Yeah. So it can't be a mandate from the people. White people.
Yeah, exactly.
College educated white people.
So that having been said,
believe in his strategies. I would
say subscribe, and share to get your weekly Focus Up fix. At 10:30, spin that back. We're going to be talking about Outcasts. Peace out. Oh, you just got to press the end stream button. I'll do it.
Wrap it up right now.